All right, let's talk about SoFi. We're going to dig into their huge, audacious plan to become the one and only financial app you'll ever need. See, they're not just trying to compete with your bank, they're trying to build a super app that completely changes the game for banking, investing, and borrowing.
And that really is the big question here, isn't it? Can one single app actually replace all those different financial institutions in your life? It's a massive, massive ambition. And we're about to break down exactly how SoFi thinks they can pull it off. But first, before we dive into their solution, we got to understand the problem they're trying to fix. SoFi's entire reason for being is built on one core idea, that for most of us, the way we handle our money is just, well, it's broken. I mean, think about it for a second. You've probably got your checking account with one bank, maybe a car loan or mortgage with another, and your investments are on some totally different app. It's all over the place, it gets confusing, and it feels pretty impersonal, right? That is the exact frustration SoFi wants to eliminate. So, what's the answer to that scattered, fragmented system? Well, SoFi stepped up with an incredibly ambitious mission to be the one single place where you manage your entire financial life. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here it is, straight from their 2024 10K filing. It's all about being a one-stop shop where their members can do everything: borrow, save, spend, invest, and protect their money all under one digital roof. Okay, a mission that big needs some serious horsepower to make it happen. And SoFi has built its engine with three really distinct but totally interconnected business segments that power the whole operation.
So, let's follow the money. How does SoFi actually make a buck? Well, at first glance, lending is the undisputed heavyweight, bringing in about 70% of the revenue. But the real story, the key to their future, is in those other two pieces, the technology platform and the financial services. Each one plays a super critical role.
First up, let's talk about lending. This is where SoFi got its start. It's their foundation and their main moneymaker. They kicked things off with student loan refinancing and have since branched out into personal loans and home loans. And they have this great flexibility. They can either keep these loans and collect the interest themselves or sell them off to other big institutions.
Then you've got the technology platform. This is SoFi's behind-the-scenes secret weapon. Through some smart acquisitions like Galileo and Technisys, they actually provide the core technology that powers a ton of other fintech companies and even old-school banks. So chances are, even if you're not a SoFi customer, you might be using their tech without even knowing it. And that brings us to the third piece of the puzzle, the financial services segment. This is where that whole super app dream really comes alive for you, the user. It's the app on your phone with everything from checking and savings to credit cards and investing tools all in one place. This is the glue that's supposed to hold the entire SoFi world together. So, is this all-in-one approach actually working? Well, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. Their member base just exploded, going from about 5.5 million at the start of 2023 to over 10 million by the end of 2024. That kind of rapid growth tells you one thing: this model is definitely striking a chord with people. But here's the thing: when you grow that fast and you're that ambitious, you paint a giant target on your back. To pull this off, SoFi has to fight a war on two very different fronts, against huge entrenched competitors and, of course, powerful government regulators. And the sheer scale of their competition is just wow. Because they want to be a one-stop shop, they're not just fighting other cool fintech startups. No, they're taking on the big traditional banks, the specialized lenders, the online brokers. I mean, they're basically fighting a war on every single front at the same time. But as tough as it is to take on all those companies, their biggest challenge might not be a competitor at all. As SoFi found out the hard way, when you become a real bank, you have to answer to the government. And this became painfully clear when it came to crypto. See, SoFi was an early mover, letting its members trade cryptocurrencies right in the app. But then, in 2022, they officially became a bank holding company, and suddenly the Federal Reserve had a lot to say about it. The verdict they handed down was crystal clear. For a company like SoFi, crypto was, and I quote, not a permissible activity. And just like that, it was over. SoFi had no choice but to completely shut down its crypto trading services. It's just a really powerful, stark reminder of who's actually in charge in the world of finance. You can innovate all you want, but at the end of the day, you play by the regulators' rules. So with all that intense competition and these major regulatory roadblocks, what's SoFi's master plan for actually winning? It all comes down to a concept they call the financial services productivity loop. A simpler way to think about it, it's a flywheel. Okay, so here's how this flywheel is supposed to work. It's a simple four-step loop. Step 1, they get you in the door with a really great product, like a high-yield savings account. Step 2, once you're in the app, they start showing you all the other cool stuff they offer. Step 3, as you start using more and more of their products, SoFi's own costs to serve you go way down. And the final, most important step, they take those savings and pour them back into better rates and new features, which in turn attracts even more members. And the flywheel starts to spin faster and faster. It's kind of like Amazon Prime. You come for the free shipping, but you end up staying for the streaming, the music, and the whole shebang. So when you look at it all, SoFi has the big vision, they've got the tech, and they've got some seriously impressive growth. But their future is still very much unwritten. This story is far from over. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Is this all-in-one super app model a revolutionary financial fortress strong enough to fight off giants and regulators? Or is it just a beautiful but fragile house of cards that's trying to do way too much at once? The answer to that is probably going to define the future of banking for all of us.